Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to North Sydney, Nova Scotia. It's the Nova Scotia Major Under-15 Hockey League playoffs. It's the Martello Bandits from Bedford. It's the host Joneljim Cougars. And it's some exciting hockey action here tonight on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. Thanks for joining us here at Amera Center North Side, kicking off this best of three first round series here in the under-15 playoffs. The 5th ranked Bandits in town from Bedford to play the host Cougars, who themselves are ranked in 8th place, making up one of 5 first round matchups here in the under-15 Hockey League playoffs. The first component of the playoff format here in this league. The second, of course, will involve the winners of those 5 series and the Gulls from Upper Tantallon, who get a first round bye and will play from April 2nd to 5th in Dartmouth during the provincial championship tournament. These two teams contending for a spot there. First team to 2 wins will move on. And while the Bandits do have home ice advantage here in this series, that will play into games 2 and 3, while the Cougars will play this, their final home game of the 2025-2026 season here tonight in North Sydney. If necessary, or rather this will happen, March 28th at the Daphne Center in Halifax is where game 2 will be. That's a 5 p.m. puck drop here this time next week. And if necessary, a game 3 will be the next day at 10 a.m. Both of those games, of course, being held in Halifax, hosted by the Martello Bandits. But it's game 1 here to kick off these teams' playoffs as we throw it down to the ice for the national anthem. The Martello Bandits hold the season series over this team, 3-0 on the year over the Cougars, but it's a whole new season now as the playoffs get underway here in Nova Scotia Major Under-15 hockey action here at the Amera Center North Side. Let's meet our starting goaltenders for the visiting Bandits. Ava Fry in between the pipes, 9-9 on the year. Her .382 goals against average is the 14th best clip in the league. And for the home team, the start will go to Lane Wambach, 8-8 on the season. His .891 save percentage is the 10th best in Nova Scotia Under 15 Major Hockey League action. As we get underway, here we go, the playoffs in North Sydney. The Bandits down with an immediate lead. They score! A quick one for Jackson Camus. 15 seconds into the hockey game on the road. And before I could even describe to you the jersey colors of each team, the Bandits are on the board. It's 1-0. He's an impact player for this Bandits team. We've seen it all year. 28 goals, best for 4th in the league, 55 points. And Jackson Camus strikes early in game 1 of the playoff season for the Martello Bandits. An early one here on the first shot of the hockey game, but a big response in return. Dylan Dixon trying to up the ante for his team after a discouraging first goal. And we're going to have a stoppage in play as a Cougar was down on the ice after taking a collision in behind his own net. Dylan Barry, the assistant captain, going down the tunnel here for the Joneljim Cougars, favoring the upper body. A rough opening 30 seconds of game 1 of the playoffs for the Cougars. First that goal and now a potential injury to one of your best players. You don't like to see it. Hope Dylan Barry is okay. But talk about action here in the first half minute of this game. Big hits, a big goal, and some big excitement here in North Sydney. We have a solid crowd here and a hit over in the corner. The arms of both referees are up in the air on that one, and we're going to get our first power play of the game. Wow, what an opening 52 seconds of this one. The Bandits, they score a lot, and they score early here just moments ago. Jackson Camus, one of their top scorers, goes blocker side on the goaltender Lane Wambach to start things off. But Braxton Robertson of the Martello Bandits will sit for 2 minutes or less here. He takes a boarding penalty. So the Cougars are going to the power play. Chance to tie this one up here. Ty Timmins in the face-off. But he's going to lose the draw to the penalty killers. The Cougars trying to win this one back. That's Sam Graves down low with the puck. Graves, the leading scorer this year for the Joneljim Cougars. Also tied for the league lead in power play goals on the season with 11. They're going to keep it up at the top of the umbrella to start this one. It gets away from Lachlan O'Neill. O'Neill is filling in on the far side board spot for Dylan Barry, who's ordinarily on this power play unit for the Cougars. And Joneljim will have to start off again in their own zone. Timmins is across the line, hits the brakes, stops up for O'Neill, maneuvers over the Braun, shot from distance, and Ava Fry gets her first taste of the puck here this evening. Almost took another shot there, but that is off the stick of her defenseman. And up into the mesh with 1 minute and 8 left to play on this penalty to Robertson. Exciting start to this one. Only 15 seconds in, Jackson Camus takes the pass and streaks down the wing to beat the goaltender for the first goal of the game. 1-0 Bandits very early on here at Amera Center North Side. O'Neill takes the pass at the far side. Hashmarks from an angle. Rebound almost bounced out to Johnston. Got away to Graves, though, as the Bandits failed to clear. Graves will take it himself to the top of the slot area. Wheels around. Some room. The pass. Rebound. Oh, Fry gets the left pad out on that. A superb save. And the Bandits will thank her with that zone clear. And the Cougars get close that time. That was Ty Timmins parked right in front of the net, but Fry does not give up on the play and comes up with a tremendous stop to keep her team in the lead here very early on in the first frame. Unable to take that one into the zone is Ethan Marsh over on the far side wearing number 18. The Cougars are back to a near full lineup today for the first time in a few weeks. They have players such as Avery Johnston and Marty McLeod serving 6-game suspensions. They're back in the lineup today. And although they're still missing Cohen Geezer to suspension, we won't see him again this season. A call-up is in the lineup. That will be Brandon Deleski. So in terms of numbers anyway, a full lineup for the Cougars, and same can be said as well for the Martello Bandits. Collision over alongside the boards. Wilson will slam that down into the corner. The power play is expired for the Cougars, so back to 5-on-5. A big early kill here for the Bandits. We're going to get some collisions over in the corner. Trying to swing around, get that shot off was Zenon Parks. Parks, third on the team in scoring this season. 24 points in 27 games on the year. A strong season again for Parks, and number 24, and Maddox Burke will walk in. Look out for Burke, 59 points on the year. This team's leading scorer, and he's torched the Cougars on multiple occasions here this season. Burke has 3 goals and 8 points in 3 games this year against the Cougars. O'Neill trying to throw the body back the other way as the Bandits get it all the way down to Cougars territory. Shot in the direction of the net off the tape of Camus. Camus already with a goal tonight, trying to get some more action generated here. It's going to stop up in the corner, takes a bump up high from the defender Braun. Linus Braun jamming out in the corner against Drew Cameron. Drew Cameron picks up the puck now. He has a hat trick this year against the Cougars. Last time they played, he found the back of the net 3 times. Big save there, and Camus tried to slot in that rebound. But Wambach came up with a big save, and a knockdown in the corner. O'Neill throwing the body, trying to use that body and become a physical presence here in playoff action here for the Cougars, as at the end of a long shift, they will finally get it up to center. Lachlan O'Neill looks at his options into the skates of Braxton Robertson. D to D over to Sam Graves. Graves will hit the brakes, but he steps up across the line. Offside as we just eclipse the 5-minute mark of the first period. Lots of chances both ways. 3 shots for the Cougars already. A couple of those off that power play opportunity. And this one could have been tied if it wasn't for a couple of great saves from Ava Fry in net for the Bandits. Tie up off the draw, skips up over the blade of Sam Graves. He'll have to hustle back to get that one under some pressure there in the forecheck by Joseph Ayotte from the Bandit side. D to D pass there, and Graves will take it back. Well, backhanded up along the yellow bumper. Returned the other way by the Bandits, albeit with a little more force and too much force. It'll be an icing call. Cougars 11-16-3 on the season, good for 35 points. That is good for 8th place in the 11-team league as well. They finished the season dropping their last 2 games though. They played a really close one here last time we saw them on March 7th against the Valley Wildcats. They led on 4 different occasions that game, but ended up dropping it 6-4 thanks to a couple of late goals from the Wildcats. The Wildcats will host game 1 of their playoffs tonight in the Annapolis Valley, hosting the Rangers in that one. Cougars tried to secure it down the zone. As mentioned, that's Avery Johnston playing his first game back in 6 games. Johnston's had a good year against the Bandits. A goal and 4 assists, and Barks is going to get away with it. Going down low, rebound to Wilson from a tough angle, and Ava Fry makes a couple of huge stops there as Parks always likes to get away. He's quick there, especially in that neutral zone, to make scoring chances for himself. But can't beat Fry to get the Cougars on the board here just yet in this one. Maximus Young leaving that off for his teammate Schlender. Dumped into the corner. Dylan Dixon wheels around to get it. Drops it back for Linus Braun. Braun under some pressure there. Coughs up to Hayes. Down into the opposite corner for Maximus Young. Young coming off a big final game of his regular season. In their last game against the Harbor Rage, whom they beat 12-1. Hit the post there. Was going to say Maximus Young had 4 goals in that one, and he almost tipped home his 5th in 2 games. It's dumped back right into the corner. as inches from making that a 2-0 game for the Bandits, finding pipe on that one. Good passing play up through the center as O'Neill tried to relay it quickly to Ty Timmins, but it's intercepted by Martello. It'll go back down low where Alex Boner will pick it up. And now O'Neill will jump around and Timmins in on the breakaway and flashing the glove. Ava Fry, another one, a great start to her game at the midway point of the first period. Still 1-0 for the Martello Bandits here on High Button Sports. The draw will be to the left of Ava Fry. Timmins taking this one. Goes up against Joseph Ayotte. It's a tie-up. And O'Neill will pick it up down in the corner. Around the boards by Robertson. And the Bandits can't get it out. Played out front where it bounces off the backhand tape of O'Neill. Goes up top for Graves and deflected down. Boner tried to go on that one-touch pass to his teammate over on the other side. Went wide, and now Boner will go into the corner. He went up against a trio of Bandits there. Martello is out with it. Skating it in is Quinn Smith. First man down into the corner, joined on the rush by the defenseman Robertson. Getting some help down the corner where Ayotte will spin it back down and behind the net. Pass out for Boner. And it's picked off. Camus looking for his second goal of the period. Will stop up and is picked off by Joneljim. Johnston, big hit along the boards. That's Liam Labuki throwing the body here. This is flickered up to center ice by the Bandits. Graves thought about skating it in. Ran into some opposition from Drew Cameron. Cameron got it as far as the opposing blue line, and Graves going up against two Bandits there who are playing some really aggressive forechecking here. Get it down even lower. Braun now trying to break this one out for the Cougars. Great pass up, and Ethan Marsh is in. The shot scores! And we're tied up here at 1 in North Sydney. And we've seen a few breakaways this period from the Cougars, especially in the last few minutes. Ty Timmins was in alone. Zenon Parks was in alone. And that time, Wyatt Wilson, or Ethan Marsh rather, was in alone. Marsh, a huge goal. He had 6 goals on the campaign, 13 points altogether. And he gets the playoff scoring started for the Cougars, and they will even things up here in the first period at 1 goal apiece. Parsons will play that back to the Bandits captain. That's Nathan McLean wearing number 21. Is going to cough it up to Boner though. Looking for that lead pass up to Ty Timmins. Now in behind the net. O'Neill on the wrap. Scores! 2 quick ones for the Cougars. It's Lachlan O'Neill, and it's 2-1 for Joneljim. And it doesn't take much, especially in the playoffs. And it only took a few seconds for the Cougars to jump to their first lead of the hockey game. Lachlan O'Neill, 10 goals on the season for him, and his first of the postseason will give the Cougars their first lead of the game here at home. Stunning after a strong defensive start to the game for the Bandits. Martello very quick to get on the board here. And Parks is going to play it up. They'll keep the pressure on here in Bandits territory. Labuki hustling in behind the net, trying to get that puck up and out under some pressure from Wyatt Wilson. Up across the line and swinging at it with the stick. Some good speed there from Becca Schlender. Couldn't steal it from Sam Graves though. Cougars get a change in. Going up one-on-one on the wall. That's Marshall Hayes, the big defenseman for the Bandits. Getting some help there from Maximus Young. Has played up for Maddox Burke. Burke trying to find one. Will cut in. Oh, was looking upstairs on Wambach, but will fire that one instead into the netting over the glass with 4:22 to go. If you were away from the screen for a couple of minutes, well, you missed a couple of goals here from the Joneljim Cougars. First, on the breakaway, Ethan Marsh tied things up, and then a wraparound attempt successful. Lachlan O'Neill giving Joneljim the lead here in the latter half of the first period. The draw will now be in Cougars territory. Hayes on the shot, trying to deflect that toward the net was Smith. It's knocked away though. It is up on the saucer, down through center ice, breaking in. Again was Marsh on the breakaway, but Ava Fry had his number that time. Almost his second of the period, as Marsh using his speed there, and a great pass, not to mention, from the captain, Sam Graves, for this Cougars team. Taking a big hit there, Maddox Burke throwing the reverse body check on his opponent. As the Bandits try to establish themselves down low, it's passed up for Johnston, trying to throw that hit there in return on his challenger as Hayes shot that in the direction of the Cougars net, but they're back the other way. Marty McLeod's teammates are changing, but he'll skate, and he had the top blocker side corner earmarked. He didn't miss that one by much, but it was up and over the net. Bandits looking for a response here. A few strong shifts for the Cougars have really turned the trajectory of this game around here in the first period, as Timmins was looking far side and he missed the net. Camus looking for some more magic, goes in one-on-one against Linus Braun. We'll get some help there from Vinny Sims in behind the net. Sims takes it up into the corner. Boner working to try and clear the zone. Camus keeps it in for the Bandits, joined there by Drew Cameron. O'Coin throwing a hip check. Will bounce between the legs of Cale Parsons at the Bandits' blue line. And the Cougars will change up. Off a skate of center ice will come to a stop. And Braun will take it the other way, pressured by a pair of Bandits. The rebound came out to Parks, and he couldn't get it up to his backhand in time. Will take a body check in the corner. Timmins will let it go along the ice. The Parks between his feet and into the glove of Ava Fry, who will cover that up for a stoppage of play. 2:19 to go here in the first period. The Cougars heavily outshooting the Bandits here at this juncture of the period. 13-3 is the shot total right now. They've really poured it on here, especially in the last 5 minutes, finding a pair of goals out of it, as the Bandits are looking for a response here after such a strong start to this game. Marsh is in to take the draw. He's going to lose it though to Burke. Burke will regain possession in the corner, but gets some opposition there from Kellen Buckley. Now Marsh has it. Turned over again. Bandits trying to organize things and get it up and out of the zone. They do. It's taken away at the center ice line. Burke attempting to deflect that past Dylan Barry. Barry had left the game 30 seconds in after taking a hit up high. It's good to see him back out there, as it almost squirted up to Ayotte. Would have been home free, but instead will loop around the net. Wrap attempt. Oh, that hit a body out front. It almost looked like it beat Wambach for a second, but it bounced away, and Wyatt Wilson tries to skate it up the other way and was denied by the Bandits defense. Good tap pass to Ayotte. He'll skate through a trio of Cougars. It's taken away by Luke McNeil. Now here comes Linus Braun on the close side. Backhanded and hit hard by Beckett Schlender. A physical game here, especially on the side of the Bandits. As Ayotte plays it up, it's a 2-on-1. Young is in, was looking high, blocker on Wambach. He made a spectacular save to knock it up and out of play with just over a minute to go in the first period here in North Sydney. While the Bandits have only had 5 shots, they've had some quality chances. They had the goal. They had a near top shelf goal there from Maximus Young. They had a goal post early in the period. So it is closer than what the shot opportunities portray. Parks went for a race for it in the corner. Skated up out of the zone by Lubuki. He's going in, a 3-on-2 materializes. For Young, tried to slip it through the legs of the defenseman, and on the backhand spinorama attempt, Wambach will find it through the chaos and will hold it for a whistle and some line changes with 44.5 seconds to go here in period 1. The Bandits 18-12 this year, good for 54 points. 5th of 11 teams in the standings. They split the final 10 games of the regular season, going 5-5 in their last 10. Of course, they finished their season strongly with a 12-1 win against the Harbor Rage, trying to keep that momentum going here and go on a streak here to finish off their season and take this thing to the provincial championships. And we're in for a heck of a series here, though, against the Cougars. If this first period is any indication, back and forth action, goals one way and a couple of goals the other, as to where we stand right now, as it is airmailed up the center ice and out of the Cougar zone. Drew Cameron trying to take it in the other way, finds Maddox Burke. Burke, the toe drag off a stanchion, a funny bounce, almost came right back to Wambach in the Cougars net. 3 seconds left in the period, and the Cougars are just going to hold it there to bring us to the end of the first frame, and a fun one it was. 15 seconds in, Jackson Camus opened the scoring for the Bandits, but the Cougars respond. Ethan Marsh on the breakaway, Lachlan O'Neill on the wraparound, and a 2-1 lead for the host Cougars here after 15 minutes of play here on home ice for Joneljim. So the teams will take a break here for just a minute, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment for the second period on High Button Sports. It's an action-packed day here in the Nova Scotia Major Under-15 Hockey League playoff picture. 4 games on the go here out of the 5 series. Of course, we got the Cougars and the Bandits here up in North Sydney tonight. The Novas will visit the Dartmouth Whalers here later this evening in Dartmouth. The Rangers will make their way up to the Annapolis Valley to play the Wildcats. And we had a thriller of a game here earlier today. The Western Hurricanes almost pulling off the upset over the Halifax Wolverines in the Seed 4 versus 9 series. But Halifax took it in overtime by a 3-2 score. So some thrilling hockey here in the Under-15 Major League as teams contend for a spot in the provincial championships from April 2nd to 5th. Hosted in Dartmouth as the Bandits are away with it. That's Camus. The shot gloved by the goaltender Wambach, and the rebound almost came out to the defenseman, the trailing guy up high, trying to get that shot off. And Cameron got an excellent opportunity in close as well. Coming up with a couple of huge saves there was Wambach, and the Cougars are going to take it the other way. Timmins goes over offside up there on that rush with Marsh and Braun. Timmins took a tumble in the corner after the whistle went. Exchanging a couple words there with his Bandit opponent. And we'll get a face-off out in the neutral zone. Kellen Buckley is in to take this one, going against Maddox Burke, and it is won by Buckley for the Cougars. Taking a tumble there was Braun. He gets back up to his skates. Play down for Johnston, who will subsequently move it deeper into the corner. Come back very quickly there in the back check was Schlender throwing a hit down in the corner and knocked that puck loose. Robertson gets it up the ice, and Ayotte will go for a skate. Centering pass up the middle where Burke picked it up on the backhand out front, and the shot. Oh, it's a bouncing one, a knuckle puck going up and down off the ice, and somehow Wambach got a pad on that one as Liam Labuki swooped in off the blue line trying to put that one past the goaltender to tie the game. Labuki will pick it up again in front of the Bandits bench, steps around, the backhand shot, rebound, a quick one, and it's quickly covered up by Wambach to make the save, and we'll get a draw here to his right. Just over 2 minutes here into the second period, still 2-1 in favor of the Joneljim Cougars here. You could say they're the underdogs in this series. They've played some real competitive games this year, but the Bandits lead them in the standings by 19 points. So if there were betting odds anyway, we have our clear favorite and underdog. But anyone will tell you here in hockey, and especially in this league, all of what happened before goes out the window when it comes to the playoffs. And we're seeing that today as Drew Cameron tries to drag that in for the shot. It's off a shin pad and will come out of the Cougars zone. Up with some speed as Parks. He'll cut to the middle, surrounded by Bandits, and the shot will trickle wide as he didn't quite get the opportunity off that he wanted, and neither did Vinny Sims as it rolled off his tape. Sims will have to get back as Quinn Smith picks it up. Smith, the backhand, and O'Hearn was in pursuit of it going toward the net, but he was behind the pass, and the Cougars will try to take this back up the other way quickly. It's Grays leading the rush. It's a 3-on-2. Grays off a stick. The rebound came over to Luke McNeil. Grays tied up with a Bandit in behind the play. They're still going at it. Sam Grays tied up on the play. The Bandits will come down the other way with it. Young tried to go blocker side on Wambach, and he made a great save with the right arm. Dixon trying to settle things down in behind his own net. At one point, the shots were 13-5 for the Cougars. Now evened up at 13 by the Bandits. Timmins going for the upstairs shot. Ava Fry gets the shoulder up on that one, knocks it up and over the cage. Braun down into the corner again. Fry attempted the play. It was over her stick. Timmins, first man in for it on the Cougars forecheck. Boner joins them. Rimmed up around the boards as Stewart gets that up and out of the zone. Taking that, Jonathan Stewart. The pass, the shot, scores! Off the tape of Beckett Schlender. It hit a body in front and beats Wambach. And we're tied up here at 2. And that one looks like it will go to Beckett Schlender. Perhaps it beat Wambach on the merit of a deflection off a Cougars defenseman. Schlender only 4 goals on the season. So you know it's special when he finds the back of the net. And he scores a big one here in this game, in game 1 of the playoffs, to tie it up at 2. And Drew Cameron's right in with it. Oh, an alert blocker save by Wambach. He's faced some quick shots, whether quick off a whistle, quick into the game, or quick off the attempt. And he made another nice one there, getting the blocker up on Drew Cameron, who is such a lethal scorer for this Martello Bandits team. O'Neill was quick to take it the other way for the Cougars, but the Martello defense put a stop to that. Braxton Robertson taking it himself, tries to cut to the slot, almost got it to Cameron, but got away from him on the bouncing puck. Camus hustles back through the feet of Marty McLeod, and Timmins will skate it in. Timmins, a shot, looking upstairs on Fry, and she looked to have gotten a piece of that. Timmins has tried that shot a few times here in the second period and has come close almost each time, but safe to say he's got his spot marked as Cameron intercepts over the center ice. Logo is going to take a tumble. No call on the play. It sounded like the bench wanted one. They won't get it as the Cougars are back the other direction. McLeod cuts in. An excellent individual effort. Dangles around Robertson, but couldn't finish the scoring attempt. And we're going to get a penalty, and I believe this will go to the Cougars as a Bandit is getting up and behind the play. So for the first time today, we'll get a look at the Martello Bandits man advantage with 14:50 to go in the second period. Going to the box there, Marty McLeod. Guilty of an interference call there, according to the referees. So Martello will set up to the right of the goaltender Lane Wambach. That's Maddox Birkin to take the draw against Ty Timmins, and Burke will win it. And the Bandits will get set up. Robertson hustles to keep that one in the zone as it got away from him. Robertson goes across and down low. Pass up top for Camus. And that took a funny bounce and went the other way on Wambach, but it missed the net in behind the net where Cameron was waiting for it. Worked over to Burke, who's working the close side half wall. Robertson fulfilling duties as the quarterback at the top of the slot. And Burke will cut to that position now and lays down for Robertson. The shot, rebound, almost bounced out to Burke. And that was knocked away in front, and perhaps Wambach got a piece of that on the diving opportunity and the save. Robertson down low for Burke at the top of the close side circle. Looks at his options. Back to Robertson. Has Camus in the slot position. Now Burke will cut in. A shot. Glove rebound. Scores! Drew Cameron gives the Bandits back the lead. Second of the period for the Bandits. A couple of quick ones here. This time on the power play to give them the 3-2 advantage. Cameron's had a strong year against this Cougars team. 3 goals, all in one game, that is. And 6 points total in the season series against the Joneljim Cougars. And he comes up with a big one here. Midway through the second period, making the power play count for the Martello Bandits, who have come out firing here in this second period. The Cougars seem to have the upper edge at the end of the first, but the Bandits finding the back of the net twice here in the first 6 minutes of the second frame. First off the stick of Beckett Schlender a few minutes ago to tie it. And now 3-2 thanks to Drew Cameron. Now 13:40 left in the second frame. There's an offside call there as the Bandits tried to take it into the Joneljim zone. So it's dumped in down low by the Cougars. Dixon attempts to hold the line. He does. Battle ensues. Getting some help in there in the corner from McNeil. The Cougars trying to find a response here, and a huge hit in front of the net. Wyatt Wilson laying the body on an unsuspecting Bandit, and it's a race for the puck down the other way. That's Maximus Young in front, trying to get that puck out to Schlender. Beckett Schlender not far from his second goal of the hockey game there, as McLean will cut toward the net. Thought about the wrap and the rebound as Young is jamming at it in front of the net. A big save by Wambach to cover it up. And it looks like we might begin another penalty here. Referee making the cross-checking motion, and it's a Cougar going to the penalty box here. To the wrong penalty box at first. That will be Dylan Dixonson for 2 minutes or less. So the Cougars will have to try and kill off another penalty here, this time short a defenseman. 3-2 the lead for the Bandits. A couple of goals here in the second period. Trying to extend that lead, but they're going to lose the face-off. It's cleared down all the other way by the Cougars. Over net to tee that up for her defense as Ava Fry plays it to Robertson along the boards. And back in down low as the Bandits try to break out. That's Robertson. Kellen Buckley, the lead forechecker here on the penalty kill for the Cougars. And Maddox Burke will break it in, maybe get a shot. He thought about it, opts to back off. We'll go to Robertson at the blue line. Mishandled, though, by Labuki. And out of nowhere is Buckley on the far side. Robertson saw him coming, though, and will angle him off the play. And Buckley will opt to head to the bench instead. The Bandits can't quite get established here on this second power play of the game for them. Minute and 5 to go on the penalty to Dylan Dixon. Robertson at the close side point. Played for Camus down to the wall for Burke. Robertson sells it down. Finds Labuki. The shot kept it along the ice, but it was off a skate. And the Cougars have lots of time to get that one up and out of their zone as the penalty killers and the power play unit alike will change up here with 40 seconds to go on the Bandits power play. Robertson will break it out, going up against Timmins on the forecheck. Look for the reverse pass to Camus. It eludes him, so he'll go back in around his own net. Now he's gonna pick up some speed here. Turned on the Jets as Jackson Camus. Maybe get a scoring chance on here. It's knocked off his stick there. A good defensive play by Dylan Berry to get the poke check in there. Gotten up and out of the zone again here. A great penalty kill for the Joneljim Cougars after allowing a goal on that first penalty kill attempt. We'll get Dylan Dixon out of the box here. A good effort from the home team here. We're back to 5-on-5. Nathan McLean gains the line and dumps it in for Martello. First man in, stealing it is Enzo Chandler. Played up for Maximus Young. Chandler come to the net. The shot, perhaps off the back of his own teammate, but nonetheless up the other way for the Cougars. Going for a skate is Zenon Parks. Parks is knocked down, joined up there on the rush by Luke McNeil, but they didn't have numbers as their three other teammates were changing over at the bench, and Chandler will steal it and go for a skate. Trailed there on the play by O'Coin, who tried to get that shot off. He's tied up there by Sims. We're getting some back and forth action here. And Chandler will take it back for the Bandits. Takes a funny bounce in the goal crease, and Wambach finds it through the chaotic sequence. And will bring a stop to play with 10:13 to go here in the second period. The Bandits take back the lead of the hockey game, up 3-2 on High Button Sports. Joseph Ayotte wins the draw clean. Dumped in the corner by Cale Parsons. Parsons gets it to Smith. Smith is cornered by a pair of Cougars down along the wall. But Joneljim comes up with possession as Dylan Berry flicks it up into the close side corner. The dump and chase. Brandon Dulesky, the affiliate player in the lineup here, picks up the puck there for the Cougars. Dulesky, strong showings in 7 appearances this year for the Cougars, including 3 assists on his stat line. He's going to win the battle and get it back to Berry. Along the ice, tipped up and flashing the leather is Ava Fry. An impressive save. Often always tricky deflection off the ice and then up into the air will bring a stop to play. As both teams will get a change in. As mentioned, this is the only game between these teams this weekend. Game 2 of the series will go next week on March 28th at the Daphne Center in Halifax. That'll be a Saturday night game, puck drop 5 p.m. And if necessary, Game 3 will go the next day at the same arena, 10 a.m. on the Sunday morning. And of course, the winner of the series going to the provincial championships, a 7-team all-out battle, as the Bandits showing off some nice playmaking there. Couldn't finish the passing play, though, as it's brought up the other way as Timmins broke in. He took a tumble. The Cougars really wanted a call here. You could hear the coaches hollering from the bench on that one. Not going to get it, though, but O'Neill will steal it back from down low. The shot! Oh, an excellent save again by Ava Fry as Linus Braun had his best look of the game right at the hash marks. Looking low blocker on the Bandit stopper, and Martello is back up with it. McLean through the legs of Sims, looking for the low blocker himself on Wambach, and he made a great save with the right pad. Chandler keeps it in for the Bandits, and that his shot is blocked that time. Buckley will flick it up across center ice, across the red line, then the blue. The puck's going to roll. McLean tried to wait that one out to see if it was an icing call. It ended up not being the case, so Martello will now settle it up behind their net. Chandler heads up pass out, but it's picked off. Buckley breaks in off the shin pad of McLean. A big block there for the Bandits captain. Stolen again, though. It's going to squirt out to Fry's crease. Gets to McLeod. Scores! Marty McLeod from the point gets a friendly bounce and ties the game at 3 for the Cougars. And a big goal from the blue line. Marty McLeod to tie it up at 3 in what has been a back and forth affair here in North Sydney. Second lead of the game for the Bandits extinguished as we're all tied up again. A brand new hockey game, as you might say. As the Cougars are right back in with it. O'Neill trying to go up top, and Fry has made a ton of big saves here for the Bandits here today. We've seen a lot, especially in the first period, off a Cougars power play early in the game. And she's come up with a few big ones there. But Marty McLeod finds a way to put it in the back of the net. He didn't score this year, so the first time regular season playoffs combined that the defenseman has found the back of the net here for the Cougars. A big one for sure for him, as the Cougars have worked back the pressure here after a first 10 minutes of this period dominated by the Bandits. As Martello tried to take it all the way back down the other way, they're going to go offside there, trying to come up for a response to that Cougars goal just a few moments ago. Draw will be outside the Cougars' defensive zone. O'Coin in there on the draw against Timmins, dumped into the corner by his winger Camus. First man in is Nate O'Coin. Helped there by Drew Cameron. Cameron has a goal here this period on the power play, using that long reach to bring it on the wrap right around the goaltender for the goal. O'Coin works it out to Camus. Returned back to the corner to the most recent goal scorer, Marty McLeod, who tried to make a move but lost the puck in the process. But his goaltender will bail him out there, as Wambach will catch it in the glove. Bandits 5-5 in their last 10 games, heading into the playoffs. The Cougars on a bit more of a slump heading into the postseason. They dropped their last 2 games heading into this one, and 4 of their last 5 on the season, dealing with various lineup absences in that case, missing players such as McLeod, who's made an impact already here in the game tonight, and Avery Johnston as well, who's been a key offensive piece for the team this year. We just have a brief stoppage in play here as the officials are discussing something at the Joneljim bench. What seems to be an animated conversation, a lot of finger pointing and indicating over toward the face-off dot. Now they're going to go over to the Bandits bench. Seems like a little bit of commotion between both of the coaching staffs here. 6:58 to go here in the period. 3-3 hockey game. Just moments ago, Marty McLeod finding the back of the net for the Cougars. Cougars had led heading into the second period. The Bandits found a couple of quick ones here in the period's first 6 minutes. And just moments ago, the Cougars tied it. So the Cougars bench is upset about something down toward the draw, but nonetheless, play will carry on. A great centering pass on the backhand there, lightning quick from Jackson Camus, who had Maddox Burke driving the net. The 2 leading scorers for the Bandits almost combined for a big goal there late in the second period. But Wambach comes up with a big stop, so we'll get another face-off down in Cougars territory, this time to the right of the goaltender. Burke is in to take it against Kellen Buckley. And the Cougars are up and out with it. That's Avery Johnston with the puck. Buckley takes a tumble at the line, and a penalty is coming up to the Bandits here. Wambach charging toward the bench, but Martello will touch up. And we, for the second time in this hockey game, will see the Cougars power play in action. Gregor O'Hearn going to the box for Martello. Looked like an interference call on the play with 6:38 to go in the period. And the faceoff will come deep in Bandits territory. Timmins going into the draw against Beckett Schlender. Joined out there on the power play unit by Avery Johnston, Sam Graves, Linus Braun, and Dylan Berry. Looked to be a bit of a face-off violation there. The Bandits face-off man Schlender will be ejected, and that will come to the favor of the Cougars as they win the draw and get set up. Dylan Berry looking for the shot, going for the glove side on Ava Fry. It's going to miss the net. Graves takes a bump, and Young will clear the zone after winning that puck battle against the Cougars captain. Braun has to hustle back. Some excellent speed there from Beckett Schlender on the penalty kill, throwing the body and making life difficult overall for Braun, who will play it up for Dylan Berry. Berry enters the zone, dissuaded from going any deeper by McLean, but will get the puck back up high. Now Timmins trying to work it in low. An excellent stick by Nathan McLean for the Bandits, and a great job as well by Linus Braun to keep that in the zone on what was a very tough clear to contain within the Bandits' end, but he won't contain that one as McLean does it himself and gets it down 200 feet, and the Bandits will get a full penalty killer change in with a minute to play here on the most recent penalty charge to Gregor O'Hearn. Braun leading it up the other way as the quarterback. O'Neill hits Timmins on the tape through the middle. Timmins looking for the drop pass back to Graves, played to Dixon. Second power play unit formulating here for the Cougars. O'Neill's shot is off the skate of a killer, and the Bandits waste no time getting that down again. Wambach way over his net to play that one. Dixon under some immense pressure there and some good speed from Jonathan Stewart. The Bandits penalty killer out there on this penalty kill unit with Drew Cameron. O'Neill, the backhand saucer up to Buckley, who is unable to hold it in the zone as he mishandled the stick handle. And that will just about do it for the Cougars power play, who will fall to 0-2 on the evening in terms of their power play success rate, as O'Hearn returns to the ice for the Bandits. Back to 5-on-5 here. Buckley takes a bump, plays it to Marsh. Marsh has a goal. He opened the scoring for the Joneljim Cougars earlier this evening on a breakaway midway through the first period. Burke is going to steal it and looking for that breakaway pass to Jackson Camus. It will elude his stick, though. It was a saucer pass and maybe a bit too high in the hand-eye. Didn't work out that time for Camus, who would have been away for a look at his second goal of the game. But instead it will be an icing call charge to the Bandits with 4:14 to go here in the middle frame. Tied at 3. 2 goals on the frame for the Bandits, and a response there from the Cougars most recently. Camus trying to chip that one out of the zone, but a good stick there from Sam Graves to keep it in. Graves tried to do it all himself, cutting around a couple of Bandits, but was eventually stripped of the puck. Braun had to hustle there in that puck battle against Drew Cameron, and Burke's going to come away with it down low. Tried to use his slick mitts to dance around the goaltender Wambach, but he's going to stick with him all the way in. A great opportunity for Burke, the Bandits' leading scorer, not to mention 6th in the league in points this year, 28 goals and 59 points in 30 games. What an excellent year it's been for number 9 in the blue uniform. And he's right back on the ice, take the face-off here. To the left, the lane Wambach in the Cougars' net. And Joneljim will come up with the face-off win. A good effort there by Ty Timmins. Got it back to Braun, but was out-muscled off the puck. Bandits tried to keep it in, but O'Neill will relay that up and out of the zone. Did Timmins gain the line? According to the linesman, he did. So it's down the ice without an icing. Alex Boner with some good speed to pin it up along the boards. Couldn't hold it there for long, though. This is a good effort by Burke to punch it out to the neutral zone. It's picked off by the Bandits, but a step a little too eager as Jackson Camus goes offside that time. Shots are 23-19 in favor of the Martello Bandits. At one point, we're being outshot 13-3 by the Cougars. Have really worked their way back into this hockey game after trailing 2-1. And here we are, tied at 3 late in the second period. Off the faceoff win, Robertson will shoot a hard one up into the chest protector of Wambach. He'll settle that down and opt for the faceoff. The provincial championship will take place April 2nd to 5th in Dartmouth, hosted by the Whalers. So that tournament will feature the Whalers, the hosts, the Gulls, who as the first place team in the Nova Scotia Under-15 Major Hockey League will get a bye, and the 5 series winners. And if the Bandits, or rather if the Whalers win their series against the Novas, I believe they're playing. If they win that series, then the next highest ranked team that didn't win the series will get that 7th seed, as there's a big hit down in the corner and what looks to be a penalty coming up against the Cougars. As there's a Bandit in the corner that's slow to get up, but he's back up to his own feet, which is good to see. It was Cale Parsons, the defenseman, taking the collision there. And going to the box is Wyatt Wilson. And the referees are going to have a brief discussion here. Possibility that this might be more than a minor penalty. And they're still talking here at the box with 3:01 left to go in the second. And we have a verdict on the play, a 4-minute double minor to Wyatt Wilson of the Cougars for a head contact penalty. The officials are just over at the Cougars bench explaining the call. Players are lined up down in the Cougar zone as they get ready to get play going here again. Having a quick meeting at the Bandits bench as well, the players are. But now the referees say play on, so a massive opportunity here on the power play for the Bandits, who are 1 for 2 on the man advantage here this evening. Drew Cameron had a power play goal earlier in the period as Maddox Burke plays it up for Braxton Robertson. Robertson to Labuki down low, was looking for Camus below the goal line. Pinned up there along the wall by Marty McLeod. McLeod in a vicious battle there against Camus, and Maddox Burke is in to help and will win the puck battle. Gets it up top for Labuki. Labuki walking in down low, exchange of passes with Cameron, and the rebound came over, and Cameron found the post from a tight angle along the Cougars goal line. Labuki picks it up again, cross-ice pass, Burke looking for the high glove on Wambach, and he gets enough of it to punch it up and over the net, and is cleared down the ice by the Cougars, who here on the long change in the second period get on their horses and get a full line change in here for their penalty kill units. 1 minute gone here in this double minor assessed to Wyatt Wilson for the Cougars. So if they don't score here before the end of the period, the Bandits will still have a minute of power play time to open the third. Camus scores! A quick release from Jackson Camus, his second of the hockey game. And the Bandits will take the lead back here late in the second period. And he does not need much room to operate. We know how much he scores for the Bandits, tied for 4th in the league for goals. And he already has 2 to start his postseason in not even 2 periods of hockey, as Burke goes top shelf on the power play for the Bandits to make it 4-3 for the visitors. And the Bandits will still have another full power play here, a full 2 minutes, as they scored on the first half of the double minor penalty to the Cougars. So the power play unit will go right back to work here, albeit the second power play unit, as the shot from a tight angle down low, originating off the stick of Stewart, was wide, and he scores! Nathan McLean goes high glove on Wambach Two quick power play goals for the Bandits. And they strike very quickly to double up their power play goals here late in the second period. Now leading 5-3, adding a little bit of insurance to that goal moments ago from Jackson Camus. It's the captain striking on that one. Firing through the crowd, Nathan McLean uses the screen to his advantage and will beat Wambach up over the shoulder. And the Bandits are making the Cougars pay here today on the power play, scoring 3 times out of 4 opportunities, including twice on that last double minor, which really ended up being a soul sucker there for the Cougars, who will try to find an answer here in the final minute of the second period. We've seen some high-scoring games between these teams before. Last time they played, it was a 7-6 final in favor of the Bandits. It's 5-3 now. And there's still another 20 minutes of hockey to play after this at least. So it's not over yet by any means, but wow, what an end to this second period for the Bandits as Timmins tried to cut in. Uses his stick against Robertson and throwing the body. Battling for it away with Marsh, and it will flutter over to Ava Fry, who will settle it down in her crease with 26 to go in the second frame. And this might end up being the story of this game, the Bandits' power play. Goals from Drew Cameron, Jackson Camus, and Nathan McLean, including those last two to make it 4-3 and then 5-3. A couple of quick ones for Martello here to take a more comfortable lead anyway into the second period. Say the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous one in hockey. So never quite comfortable, but something they'll take for sure here heading into the room. And maybe they'll add to that as they're going back down the other way with it. Drew Cameron in a puck battle, good stick by Braun, and Timmins is away with the puck. 2-on-1, joined by McNeil. Fanned on the centering pass out front. Parks in front, scores! Luke McNeil, a favorable bounce at the buzzer as time runs out here in the second period. The referee says it will count, and the Cougars come up with a big goal here at the very tail end of the second period to move within 1 of the Bandits' lead. Now you would think there would be a face-off before the Zamboni comes out here. But no, it appears the players are heading to the rooms. The referees are pointing toward the rooms. There's going to be a quick discussion after the whistle here with the Cougars bench. I don't believe that involves a final face-off, as the players head to the room. And what a thrilling, not only game, but the end of that second period. We knew this would be a good series between these teams. We've seen how much they've scored against each other this year. We had the couple of power play goals there in the last couple of minutes from the Bandits, and a buzzer beater from Luke McNeil with 0.0 on the clock here in North Sydney to make it 5-4. And that's only through 2 periods of play here at Amera Center North Side. Only 1 goal separating these two teams. Martello 5, Joneljim 4. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so here for the third period action here on High Button Sports. And hello and welcome back, everybody, to North Sydney. The Bandits leading the Cougars by a 5-4 score here after 2 periods of play here in Game 1 of their Nova Scotia Major Under-15 Hockey League postseason campaign here on High Button Sports. And 9 goals already through 2 periods of play. Hardly surprising for these teams that both score a lot of goals. The Bandits in particular, 4th best in the league in goals scored this year with 136. The Cougars themselves are 8th in that metric. 97 goals scored in 30 games played here this year. But nonetheless, they always find a way to keep these games close, especially against a team like Martello, and they always make it interesting. That second period certainly was. Both teams at different points in the game have each led for quite the periods of time. Martello had a 5-3 lead there after a long stretch of 3-3 play in the second period. They scored twice on the same power play on a double minor to the Cougars. Took a 5-3 lead. But at the buzzer, Luke McNeil slipped it past the goaltender, Ava Fry, to make it 5-4. And that's where we stand now, heading in to a much-anticipated third period here in Game 1 of the best-of-3 series for these teams, the Bandits and the Cougars, competing for a spot in the provincial championships in a couple weekends' time in Dartmouth. Underway here in the third period, the Bandits in the blue uniforms to your right, and the Cougars in the home whites to your left, and it'll be down in Joneljim's zone after a couple of waved off icing calls. Linus Braun skating down the ice with it. A good block there off the shin pad of Liam Labuki, and Labuki will hop on his horse and go up the ice, but it got away from him, and Marsh will take it back the other way. Ethan Marsh in front, up and over the net. Kellen Buckley cut toward Fry's crease, and that did not miss by much as it just eluded the crossbar at the Bandits' cage. Foot race for it the other way. Braun will cut in for the angle and will force it down in down low as some of his teammates will change up. Ayotte dances away from coverage, and Maddox Burke will now jump in. Burke drop pass, Chandler! Oh, a huge save by Wambach as Enzo Chandler was looking blocker side on the Cougars goaltender. He'll have to have a good period here if the Cougars want to finish the comeback attempt in this one. As Luke McNeil, the most recent goal scorer, tried to backhand that through traffic, it was blocked. Wyatt Wilson trying to go up top with it. Dylan Berry was waiting, but was taken away by the Bandits first. Fluttered into the zone by Enzo Chandler. He's at the end of a long shift, and he and some teammates will change up. Right off the bench, though, is Jonathan Stewart. Stewart going up against Berry, some one-on-one pressure. Backhand pass and cut into the net was Young. It didn't quite get to him, though. Got away into the corner instead. McNeil on the clearing attempt hit the referee. It's a bouncing puck in front of and now behind the Cougars' net. Good stick handling there. Heads up play by Dixon. He'll take it himself up through center ice. It eludes a check. Eludes another check. McNeil into the legs of Ava Fry. She'll kick that away on a great individual effort there by Luke McNeil. Really making things happen here to start off this third period for the Cougars. 17-10 into the period as that one is up off a stick and into the crowd here at Amera Center North Side. A great catch by somebody over there. Showing off some good glove hands, but nonetheless we'll get a face-off down on the ice outside the Cougars' end. 28-22 the shots for the Bedford Bandits in this one. Dominating the shot total there in that second period. And trying to keep the pressure up here in the third. Instead, the faceoff will come inside. Marshall Hayes through traffic, and a good alert glove by Lane Wambach to force that wide. Braun flicks one up off the glass, and Marshall tried to do the same. He's going to find his teammate Buckley going in one-on-one, but his teammate Johnston will go offside as he collided with a Bandit. Buckley will retreat to his own blue line. Some good pressure there by Burke, who almost stole it. Dangerous chance there for the Bandits. But Joneljim will settle it down now in their own zone as they dealt with a bouncing puck. Braun looking for the play up to his defenseman, Sims. Got away from him as it did on Timmins. And now the Bandits have some runway the other way. Labuki wheels around looking for Burke, who tried to bat it out of midair. It got away from his stick, though, out there on this line with Quinn Smith. A little bit of chaos in front of the net. Now some traffic down low in the crease. It's loose and covered as we get a whistle. As Smith was causing havoc right on top of the crease, and Marshall Hayes right down in there as well, trying to make something here happen for the Bandits. And still some discussions in there behind the play between Jackson Camus and Lachlan O'Neill. They'll line up on the opposite wings from each other as Nate O'Coin jumps in for the O-zone draw for the Bandits and won it over to Drew Cameron, who will work into the corner with that. On the cycle to the far side defenseman. Comes all the way back around for O'Coin and looking for that tip at the back door. Jackson Camus was tied up by McLeod. Camus 2 goals tonight here for the Bandits. And on the rush the other way in the neutral zone, the puck will fly up off a Bandits player on the bench. So that will initiate a stoppage. 15:46 to go here in the third. No goals yet here in the late frame. One goal game, and the next one, safe to say, will be huge. Graves will pick it up beyond his own net. High off the glass. Nobody home. Robertson will go the other way, but gets away from everybody. It's going to be an icing call against the Bandits with 15 and a half to go. Out of town scoreboard, Halifax taking game 1 in their series against the Western Hurricanes by a 3-2 score. The Wolverines tied it late and then finished the comeback after it with the overtime goal. The Novas take care of business in game 1 as the heavy favorites against the Dartmouth Whalers in the number 3 versus number 10 series, winning that one 5-0 in Dartmouth today. And right now, the Rangers and the Valley Wildcats tied up at 3 in game 1 of that series. And it's going to take a bounce. And Wambach seemed to cover it up. There was a Bandits player who had his hands in the air, maybe trying to sell a goal call there. But instead it's blown down there by the official for a stoppage and play, as Martello was quick to take it all the way back down to the other end of the ice after that icing call. So we'll get a draw now deep in Cougars territory. Maddox Burke will talk over a face-off play with his defenseman Hayes going up against Buckley in the circle, and is won by Burke in the O-zone. Left off for Hayes, goes in down low, pass out front by Ayotte. Burke jamming at it, and that was blocked out front. Good defensive play by Braun to keep that away from his own cage. Buckley punches it up across the line, where Hayes tried to maneuver it the other way, but was under some heavy pressure there from Johnston. But the Bandits get it back so far, where Braun will try to exit the zone again for the Cougars. Burke takes a check in the corner there with Enzo Chandler on this line, joined as well by Joseph Ayotte on the other wing. Overskating it there was Kellen Buckley. Looking for the outlet pass up high. We'll go around for Braun, who's up there in the right wing position as a defenseman, and almost stolen there by Ethan Marsh. He'll have to chase it into the corner, joined up there on the rush by Avery Johnston. Johnston jumps to the backhand off a body. It hit Marsh, still loose. And through the chaos, Ava Fry finds it. A crucial save and covers it up in the crease for a draw to her right here in just a moment. Just over 14 minutes to go here in the third period. 5-4 still the score in favor of the Bandits. Luke McNeil taking the O-zone draw for the Cougars, will force it ahead through the legs of his center ice counterpart. And the Bandits will take it the other way. Robertson high up on the rush, but his teammates are going to be deemed offside on that attempt. Been a busy game, 2-1 for the Cougars after the first period. And the Bandits' offense explodes in the second, scoring 4 times, 3 times on the power play. But the Cougars keep up with them, at least within 1 goal, scoring twice themselves in the second frame. No goals here yet in the third, but we've definitely seen the chances as the Bandits are trying to extend their lead here, dominating the last few minutes for the most part. And the shot from a tight angle, it bounced back there favorably for Schlender, but he missed his chance. On the drop pass there, looping around and banging away at the front of the net again is Schlender. Now from a tight angle, Robertson will be denied by Wambach, hugging that close side post for the save. As mentioned, the provincial championships a couple weeks away, being hosted by the Dartmouth Whalers in Dartmouth. The 5 series winners, the host Whalers and the Gulls, the first place team in the regular season standings, will get a bye into the proverbial dance here in the Nova Scotia Major Under-15 postseason. Games won in all of the series will be this weekend, 4 of them being played today. The 5th, which will be between the 2nd place Werewolf Bombers and the 11th place Harbour Rage, will go tomorrow in Cole Harbour. 1 p.m. puck drop on that one. All of the playoff action here, including that one, will all be on right here on High Button Sports. The Bandits had won the draw. Instead, Joneljim will take it out the other way. Sims skated it all the way up, almost to center ice, and is at the bottom of a pile up there. 4 or 5 players colliding there. Now the shot up off a seat and back onto the ice. And out of play with 12:50 to go here in the period. Face-off will come all the way back down to the Cougar zone. Both teams getting some line changes in. The Camus line on for the Martello Bandits, centered by Nate O'Coin and joined by Drew Cameron. Ty Timmins has taken the face-off for the defending Cougars, and it's a big D-zone win for Timmins. Trying to find his way out of the crowd is McLeod. Up through the feet of Alex Boner. First man in after it is Timmins, also joined on that line by Lachlan O'Neill. O'Neill has a goal tonight. Camus has 2, now has the puck. Trying to sidestep Sam Graves, will force a dump in. Graves gets it himself this time, tries to flick it around Camus, who will throw a check in response and then tumbles to the ice. Timmins with the outlet pass, just enough out of the zone, and stolen by O'Neill, coming in on the breakaway. Scores! Another big one for O'Neill, and the Cougars will tie it here at 5. Lachlan O'Neill channeling beast mode here to start his postseason. A couple of big goals for him today to take the lead, 2-1 in the first period. And now to tie it at 5 here, approaching the midway point of the second. Taking the stretch pass from Timmins and going on the breakaway and doing it all himself, going upstairs on Ava Fry to tie it up here at 5 here in the third period. What a game it's been for goal scoring. And O'Neill has 2. Cougars take it up through center ice. Drop back to Barry. Under some immense pressure there from Maddox Burke whenever he's looming. You always want to have your head on the swivel if you're the Cougars. He's been involved in some of the goals here tonight, but something just tells you that number 9 in the Bandits is still waiting to pop off here for a big moment of his own, as he's had so many times here this year for this team, especially in those games against the Cougars earlier in the season. He's there on the left wing here on the line, centered by Enzo Chandler. But it's won back here by Kellen Buckley. A big face-off win for the Cougars in their own zone, but picked off by Burke. Chandler walks into the breadbasket of Lane Wambach, but he couldn't hang on to it. It's knocked out of the way here by the Bandits. In behind Chandler as Braun tries to get that one up into the zone. Takes a check from Chandler. Burke's in. Tried to go up over the shoulder. Wrap try in the crease. It's a scramble and it's kept out by the Cougars, who will take it the other way with intention and speed. Trying to cut under the pressure was Marsh. Johnston throws a check. And Joneljim almost got a chance generated on the counterattack the other way. A good job individually by Marsh. Drop back to Burke, looking for the high glove, and that's a little too high. Eludes the stick of Wyatt Wilson off the bench for Joneljim. Instead, Sam Grace will take it. The captain for the Cougars walks in, the fake shot from the tight angle will wrap around. All alone in front was Wilson, and it goes through his legs and out of the zone. A good alert stick there by Schlender, who has a goal here today for the Bandits. Wouldn't he like another one here now as Martello tries to get established down in the Cougar zone. A huge hit in the corner thrown there by the big body Maximus Young, knocking the Captain Graves to the ice as Parks gets it in deep for the Cougars the other way. Walking out with it though is Jonathan Stewart. Gets it up to his winger. Young gains the line. High pass for Robertson is up over his stick blade, and in behind the net, stopping that up is Wambach. High off the glass on the clearing attempt is unsuccessful. Schlender kept it in, but only for a moment, and numbers the other way for the Cougars. Parks, O'Neill, oh, what a stop by Fry, sticking out the right toe, denies O'Neill of the hat trick. Unbelievable stuff here in North Sydney. O'Neill, oh so close to another one, and Braun not done with them yet. Will throw it in low and scooping that up for a much needed break for both teams as Ava Fry for the whistle. 9:34. O'Neill moments ago the tying goal, and moments ago almost the go-ahead goal if it wasn't for an excellent stop by Fry. And the face-off will be in the Bedford zone. Timmins off the face-off tie-up with Maddox Burke, and Burke comes up with a big win there. Now in 3-on-2, Maddox Burke lean the rush, shot! And Wambach covers it up, gobbling up a hard wrister from the Bedford leading scorer here, who's looking to leave his own mark on the game. Wambach shunned the door as well. Both goalies coming up with some big saves here in the third period. That's going to be Burke in to take the draw. The Cougars will be ejected though. That's Marsh in to take it and will win it here in his own zone. Settling up in behind the net. Pass up for Johnston. Up through the middle of the ice. Marsh got a breakaway earlier in the game on a play like that and scored on it. He tried to channel some more of that energy there as we get a log jam here in the middle of the ice as a bit of a scrum emerged. Puck's going to ricochet up off a Bandits player, and we'll get a stoppage with just under 9 to go here in the third period. Now all tied up at 5. We already had an overtime game in under 15 playoff action today between the Wolverines and the Western Hurricanes. Maybe we'll get a little more if no one else can find a goal in the next 9 minutes, as Ava Fry will scoop it up down in Bandits territory. 36-26, the shots right now in favor of the visitors. As the draw is won by the Cougars. Marty McLeod, he has the goal today. He was looking for a second, is going to get away from him there as he stepped into the shot. Left some room for Drew Cameron to go for his skate. Cameron in the corner gets some help. It's a 2-on-2 battle down along the wall as Cameron tried to work it up top, and instead it'll be taken out here by O'Neill. Alex Boner now scooping it up. Takes a check from behind, pops out to Timmins. Now Boner gets the shot off the blocker of Fry. Centered in front, high shot from Braun, missed everything, almost hitting the referee in behind the net. Now O'Neill, centering pass, got away from Boner. as that hit the skate of a Bandit in behind the play. Robertson now tried to step around Dylan Barry, and it's going to be chaos in front of the Cougars bench. One would have thought a too-many men call, but there's going to be a call in behind the play as we have a Cougar down behind the action here, and a whistle, so it will be a penalty. We'll have a quick stoppage of play here. It's Braxton Robertson gone to the penalty box for the Bandits. And it looks like Dylan Barry was the victim of that hit. He already had to leave the game for a brief time earlier today and go to the room, and he just went to the room again here for the Cougars. And Barry is a first unit power play guy, among many other things, for this Cougars team, with Joneljim now going to the power play for the third time today. They haven't scored on the man advantage yet. They're 0 for 2. And they're going to have to do it here without Barry if they want to try to find a go-ahead goal here. Late in the third period, they're going to hold the line. Timmins down low battling away with Avery Johnston. Joined out there, filling in for Dylan Barry is Lachlan O'Neill on the far side. And Johnston got the shot off. Timmins was rooting for it in front of the Bandits net. Ava Fry will find it through the crowd and force the whistle. Still another minute 37 to go on the power play for the Cougars. Last time they led was early in the second period. They were up 2-1. And just recently came back to tie it up at 5 thanks to a goal from Lachlan O'Neill a few minutes ago. We're going to get another penalty coming up here. It's a slashing minor. And this one might be going up against the Bandits as well. So it looks like we're going to have a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Cougars. Drew Cameron to the box, slashing, and a huge opportunity for Joneljim. The draw will be to the left of Ava Fry. Timmins in to take it against Beckett Schlender at the center ice dot. Face-off won by the Cougars. Braun out there with O'Neill to his left and Graves to his right. It goes to Graves. It misses the stick, though. Johnston working below the goal line, as is Timmins. It goes around Timmins. Finds his way up to O'Neill on the bumper side on the far side. Graves walks in. Gloved by Ava Fry. She's been tough to beat on the glove side here tonight, and saw that Sam Graves wrister all the way through, and that's where Graves likes to operate for this Cougars team. The defenseman, 17 goals, 34 points, leads the team in both of those categories. Third in D-man scoring after Connor Grace of the Warewell Bombers and Trip Greeno of the Wildcats. And a timeout will be called here by the Joneljim Cougars with 1:13 to go on the 5-on-3 power play opportunity. And another thrilling chapter between these two clubs. We've seen a lot of entertaining games between them this year, including a lot of high-scoring ones. It started off with a goal 15 seconds in from Jackson Camus. The Cougars responded twice later in the period. Ethan Marsh and Lachlan O'Neill responding. The Bandits' offense exploded for 4 goals in the second frame, including 3 on the power play, including another one for Camus, with no time left on the clock in the second. And with the Cougars down 5-3, Luke McNeil scored to make it 5-4. And at about the midway point of the period, Lachlan O'Neill on the breakaway to make it 5-5. And an evened up game here. And now a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Cougars to try and take the lead. But Graves fanned on the shot. And the Bandits get a big clear here to kill some more time off the clock on this penalty. Braun will quarterback this power play up the ice. Right side to Graves. Picks up some speed. Trying to be his man to the outside. Maybe on a wrap try. Instead, he'll establish the possession. The shot! And handling that one is Fry, who's been all over Graves tonight. Some great looks for the Cougars captain, but can't solve the Bandits stopper. Now 41 seconds left until the Bandits, Braxton Robertson jumps out of the box, and the play returns to 5-on-4. And it'll be another minute and 11 at the most until Drew Cameron steps back onto the ice for the Bandits, but it remains 5-on-3 until then. Face-off won by the Cougars. They get established. Graves and Braun trading passes. Braun will shoot it, and that's down low, pitted away by Fry. Graves operating down low with Braun. Braun lets another shot go off the shin pad. Graves could not corral the bouncing puck. Spun off his stick, but he finally sells it down. Takes the return pass. Graves off the stick shaft. O'Neill in front of the net. And Fry managed to deny that one from beating her. And that will bring an end to the Robertson penalty. But we are going to get a stoppage in behind the play as Ava Fry had her mask come off in the midst of all that chaos, making the big save anyway. And we'll have to change up the buckets there before we resume play. There's going to be 1 second left on this 5-on-3, so Robertson will have to wait until the puck is dropped until returning to the ice here for the Bandits. There's going to be a discussion at the Cougars bench about something. I think the officials are trying to figure out where this face-off will be. It was blown down in behind the Cougars net, while the referee at the other end of the ice over by Ava Fry's net was blowing it down as the goaltender was pleading for a whistle. And she's going to change up mass here. It looks like she might have broke something after making that second stop on Lachlan O'Neill right on top of her crease. 6:02 to go in the period. And maybe we'll get more, as the Cougars won't manage to score on the 5-on-3 opportunity. They still have another 27 seconds left on the power play as Drew Cameron remains in the box. But their power play metric will fall to 0-3 on the evening, and maybe to 0-4 unless they get a quick one here. With just under 6 to go here in the third frame. The second unit out here for the Cougars now. Kellen Buckley walks in. Big save. Fry can't find it. It was behind her. Where is it? McLeod jamming at it. They think it's in. At least one of them did. And now some extracurricular activity as the Cougars had the puck squirt in behind the goaltender. If it wasn't for the help of the defenseman there, Marshall Hayes, excellent heads-up play there for the Bandits to get in behind and keep the puck out of the Bandits' net, inches from the Cougars taking a late lead here in the third period. As we still have a couple of Bandits gathered around the net. They're giving one of the players here a couple of congratulations. Perhaps it was the captain, Nathan McLean, who got back to keep that one out, but somebody did here for the Bandits, as the shot from Kellen Buckley had beat Ava Fry from in close and was slowly trickling, it seemed, into the net. The referee rules, though, no goal. We heard a couple pleas in the crowd here that it was in. I'm not sure if they had as great a view as the official down on the ice did. And it's definitely not the call on the ice. But we'll get a draw to the left of Ava Fry once the chaos boils down a little bit here on ice level. Looks like we'll return the play. Timmins in to take the face-off for the Cougars in the O-zone. Will go up against Maddox Burke. 5-5 the score. Oh, so close to 6-5 for the Cougars. But the Bandits managed to keep it tied up, and they'll take it the other way. It's Maddox Burke. Centering pass intended for Cameron. The wrap pass Camus was coming down the far wing. It was away from him. Robertson is in low. The defenseman will backpedal. Trying to emerge from coverage was Camus, and Burke will keep it in. The big body Drew Cameron goes up against Braun, wins the battle, scores! And there it is for Maddox Burke. The big goal, the go-ahead goal. 4:58 on the clock here in North Sydney, and the Bandits are back in front, 6-5. And we knew the Bandit Stars' big moment was coming here tonight, as Maddox Burke, off a great feed and puck battle win by his teammate Drew Cameron down in the corner. What a crucial play and a crucial shift for that line. And the Bandits send the big boys out there to do their work and take the lead back here in the dying minutes of the third period. And Maddox Burke goes upstairs for his first goal of the playoffs. And the Cougars, after that power play opportunity, a prime example of how a crucial power play, or a 5-on-3 power play at that, can influence the momentum of both teams. The Bandits riding a huge penalty kill into that go-ahead goal for Maddox Burke at the other end of the ice. And they're going to keep up the pressure here now in Cougars territory as Joneljim tries to settle things down and take it the other way. Schlender flicked out, and Parks is into the zone. Is it offside? No, but it is blown down, it appears, for an icing call. Looked to be some confusion there. We hear some vocal opposition from the Cougars bench, but nonetheless coming back down all the way 200 feet to Cougars territory as Joneljim has to return some of their players who had shifted off there on the close call back out onto the ice with 4:08 to play here in the third period. The Cougars now, after equalizing the score earlier in the third, find themselves again in the exact same position as moments ago Maddox Burke buried the go-ahead goal off a beauty of a pass from Drew Cameron to give the Bandits a 6-5 lead. And Burke in the line is right back out there as it's a shot through coverage there. Camus providing some pressure in front of the net. This is the Bandits' version of their nuclear option, sending out their top three scorers on the line. Out to Burke in the blocker of Wambach, who stretches out and bills out the turnover on his team there to keep them in it and cause the whistle here with 3:42 now to go on the clock in this one. The big line will stay out there for the Bandits. Burke in to take the draw. Camus perched at the top circle position as the puck is deflected up and out of play. Came off the stick of Marshall Hayes at the point. Avery Johnston threw a big hit on him after the shot was released. So we'll get a repeat of the draw to the right of the goaltender Wambach. Burke in to take it again. He'll take it against Kellen Buckley. And face-offs won by Buckley for the Cougars. Off the glass by Braun. Flew for his winger up the wall. Marsh out there with Buckley and Avery Johnston right now for the Cougars. Trying to work it up. Johnston knocks it down center ice. Under some immense pressure from Camus, who throws the body. Joined up there on the line. Good hit by Marsh as well in response. Johnston was under pressure from a trio of Bandits working hard to kill off the rest of the clock here at the 3-minute warning here in this hockey game, or 3:02 to be exact, as the puck takes a deflection up and out of play in the Bandit zone. 39-34 the shots for Martello in this one. The Cougars trying to register a few more here and find that equalizer before regulation time is out, and time is running out. Bandits, a huge face-off win in their own zone, but it's picked off by Zenon Parks for the Cougars. Centering attempt by Ty Timmins takes a bounce out to the line where McLeod returns it to the corner. Parks couldn't handle it in the slot area, and neither could the Bandits on the breakout. It's dumped right back in by McLeod. Parks, first man in, using that speed, trying to catch Fry off guard in behind the net, but it's going to escape the zone on the Cougars. McLeod played up for Lachlan O'Neill, finds Timmins out of coverage, will skate away, curls off to the side, bounced out to Parks. He couldn't handle it, tried to center that one. He's under pressure from a pair of Bandits now. Gets some help in the corner from O'Neill, trying to get that backhand out front. McLeod collapsing in, the shot off a skate and wide. Dixon on the rebound, fanned on the attempt. Dumped down the ice by Maximus Young. Not enough mustard on it for an icing. And coming down with a big hit on the forecheck was Jonathan Stewart. Minute 56 now. Keep an eye on Wambach in the Cougars net. Marsh will settle it down, and so will the rest of his teammates, trying to calm things down, get set up, and take it the other way for one last push to try and tie this one up late in game one. Marsh looking for the centering pass to Johnston, picked off instead by Buckley. Buckley walks in, shot attempt, padded away by Fry. Rebound goes right back to Buckley. Good individual attempt there with some help from Ethan Marsh. The goaltender is not left yet. Cougars getting established. There goes Wambach to the bench. 6-on-5 opportunity. But right as he goes off the bench, can the Bandits finish the game? No, he can't. Looked like Maximus Young was right down there with a chance to end it with 1:08 left. Camus steals it now for the Bandits. Kept out of the net by Linus Braun, but the Cougars are going to be pinned in their own end here without a goalie in the crease. Now Graves will take it himself. Sam Graves, one last stand for the Cougars. 50 to go on the clock here, late in the third period. This is it for the Cougars in this one. It's a rugby scrum the corner, and Graves comes out with it, looking at his options, trying to play the waiting game against Labuki. And Labuki throws a big check along the wall against O'Neill. O'Neill will fall to the ice in a crowd. Graves from a tight angle, stopped by Fry in deep. Chaos ensues, centering pass, Timmins in the air, battle in front, and Fry finds it through the crowd in front and dives on top of the puck with 18.2 seconds to go in regulation. And there was some extra fireworks after the whistle went. We're going to get a penalty. It might be coincidentals here. Lachlan O'Neill and Liam Labuki both going to the penalty box after that final push and that whistle off the Ava Fry save, as the Cougars were right on top of the net here. Scorekeeper wasn't clear on something, so the referees will talk something over quick at the referee's crease as the rest of the players wait down in the circle for the draw, the biggest draw of the hockey game. The Bandits win and clear this out, that could do it. Cougars, with a win, could try and bury it and tie this game and extend it to overtime. We're going to get a change behind the play, or maybe just a quick timeout. The Martello Bandits coaching staff is contending that, saying that the players shouldn't go back to have the conversation. No call or anything off it. So now we'll go back down into the zone. The Cougars tried to talk over a play right quick before the drop of the puck. And nonetheless, play will continue. 6-on-5, the net is empty for the Cougars. Timmins for the draw. And the linesman will say that the players have to wait. Schlender in the other way for the Bandits. And looked like the Bandits won the face-off, but Buckley was quick off the face-off. 12 seconds trying to pin it to the boards. In front, it squirts loose. It's out of the zone. Stewart escapes for the Bandits. And Martello is going to take game one here in a nail-biter in North Sydney down to the very last play. Maddox Burke with the game-winning goal with 5 minutes to go. And the Bandits survive a back-and-forth thriller here at the Emera Center North Side and take game one of the first round of their postseason by a 6-5 score against the Cougars. And we couldn't have expected anything different from these teams. Played so many close games this year. And it's not over yet between them, as game two slated for next Saturday at the Daphne Center in Halifax, a 5 p.m. puck drop. We'll have that one here on High Button Sports, and we will also have a game three if needed, if the Cougars can take that game two and keep the series going here in this best of three battle with a place in the provincial championship tournament on the line, as that brings an end to the season here at the Emera Center North Side. As no matter what happens, games 2 and 3 will be held in Halifax. And no matter who wins the series, they'll go on to play the rest of their season against the other teams in the provincial championship tournament. The Dartmouth Whalers, the host of that one. All that to say, the final game of the season here in this league held here at North Sydney. It was a pleasure bringing you the Cougars action here in Cape Breton all season long here on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. Thank you for tuning in this one. We have lots more playoff action here in the U15 League here in Nova Scotia, leading up to the provincial championship tournament in Dartmouth from April 2nd to 5th. Lots more action to go until then, but so long for now from North Sydney.